So, welcome to this session with me. My name is Rachel Frantz. I'm a Biomechanics coach and a program director for the iMoveFreely program, which is specifically designed for every person on the planet who wants to improve their quality of movement. So whether you're a complete beginner or an athlete or anything in between, your body will benefit from this type of session. Anybody who is new, it won't always feel like it's dynamic. Some of the techniques are quite static. We're going to start with the 4 sign. So keep an open mind if it is your first time in. Those of you who've been doing it a while, thank you for your feedback. I'm glad you're really feeling the benefit. It's the kind of program that we might want to use to reverse what our lifestyle is doing to our bodies. That sort of degrading, if you like, from sitting postures, sitting or sedentary lifestyle, or even overactive lifestyle if you stand a lot at work, shop workers, things like that, or if you've been homeschooling the kids sitting at the dining table. So it's a perfect preparation tool. The byproducts are the really cool parts. So it can reduce your risk of injury, reduce recurring injuries or issues, and it can help with low-grade, non-specific problems. Which brings me to our first point before we begin, which is the disclaimer, and it really pulls together everything I've just been saying. So if you experience pain, if you have any injuries, if you're maybe pregnant or anything that's, not the sort of norm, so nursing a medical condition, for example, please consult a professional before you start any new exercise program. However, once you're cleared, iMoveFreely is a perfect place to start. So with a mat or a carpet, comfy clothes, maybe a chair for a little bit later on. I want to show you some things using the chair, but we're going to begin with the 4 sign and we're going to start on our back. So if you just take yourself into a position where you can still see the camera, and then just bring yourself down to a lie. In fact, I should show you the correct way to lie down for anybody who's new to it or not as comfortable rolling around from standing to lying. So you can come sit on your side, let your hands lower you down, coming down onto your shoulder to then roll onto the back. And that's just if some people have any issues or anything, you've been cleared for exercise, but you struggle with the kind of rolling back technique. And we can reverse that technique on the way up as well. So it's just a rolling, pushing back up. But I realised I hadn't shown that one, so again, not knowing who's on the other end of the lens. Okay, you ready? So nice and relaxed, please. You're going to cross one ankle over the opposite knee. Just make sure the knobbly bit of your ankle is kind of clear of your leg. Just try and see if you can find a comfortable position. If that feels quite stiff, just slide that bottom leg further away, which just opens the hips a little bit, gives you a bit more room to cross the leg over. From here with the 4 sign, we want to imagine we're going to be rotating using the hip muscles. We're going to use the hand as the blocker so that when we use the rotation, the hand is stopping the movement and we're going to hold it there. The amount of effort we apply with those hip rotators is just a very low 20%. So just imagine that 100% maximum press, halved and then halved again. I'm going to hold that for 20 seconds. So tonight's session, we're going to do a release on each side, and then we're going to strengthen the opposite muscle, and then we're going to strengthen the muscle we've released, and then we're going to repeat it. So we're going to move around quite a bit we're going to transition, which is why I wanted to show you the transition, so that we can experience the release, strengthen one side, strengthen the opposite side. So we're going to swap over to the other side. So again, cross it over, take the leg away if you need to, use your hand as the block, relax the neck and shoulders, and then rotate the knee or the leg into the hand. The hand is just stopping it. So you might want to use the opposite one. If you prefer to use the one on the same side, that's fine. And we hold that 20% pressure for 20 seconds. Good. Don't know what's happened to the music there. We can go without music. Okay, and then just relax, give it a little shake, and then bring the feet together And what we're going to do, take the arms out, we're just going to drop the knees out and then bring them in. So what we're doing is we're loading the adductor muscles. So if you carry on there for a second, check, camera's still going. Yeah, we are. That's right. It's the, I think my music device has decided to install a new, do an update or something. Okay, so from here, you've got a harder option, which would be taking the feet away from the floor, just making sure that the spine stays nice and still. And then obviously you've got a longer lever option, but you choose the one that actually feels good for you. And it isn't about heavy loading, it is about just moving the area that we've just released and breathing through it, trying to keep everything still but relatively relaxed. So we don't want to be kind of rolling around too much just here. And then what I'm going to ask you to do, guys, is just roll onto your side. Right, okay. And then if you just take that bottom knee back, I'll sort that out, Holly. Bend the bottom knee, and then what you're going to do is you're just going to literally lift and lower. So if you can do that again, lift and lower. Elbow underneath the shoulder, and if you carry on lifting and lowering, let me just see if I can address the glare. And hopefully that. So just keep lifting and lowering, guys. And then I'll wait for Holly to confirm if that's better. Just stick you back on. And then, okay, and then, fantastic. All right, and then thanks, Holly. So if you turn over onto the opposite side, exactly the same again. So elbow underneath the shoulder. And then open the hips, top leg out straight, and then all we go from here is just a lift and a lower. So we've gone with the release, we've worked the inside of the thigh, and now we're working the outside of the thigh. And again, you're probably going to feel it in the side of the torso as well, because as you lift, the torso wants to drop. So that's okay. The body works as an integrated system. Everything is connected. And so the idea is that we want to strengthen that whole connection. So we're going to lie back and we're going to repeat the 4 sign. And we can do it the other way, that's fine. Cross one leg over, hand on the inside, rotate the leg, hand is the block, 20% effort from those hip muscles. And whilst you're doing these, just let the neck and everything else just relax. Take a couple of big deep breaths and kind of try and imagine, if you were to visualize those rotators of your hip, what they'd be doing, that kind of generating the energy within them with that technique. Then we uncross, we swap sides, and again you may just adjust in between, hand on the inside of the knee. And I know that I needed this today, so big catch up, work is picking up quite dramatically, so spending quite a bit of time at the desk, so maybe some of you feel the same. And it gets to the point where sometimes you're so fatigued, the idea of something more dynamic may not be encouraging for you, and so you know you can always do the iMoveFreely. More often than not, once I've done this, I feel more energized anyway. But just if everything else seems too energetic, you can still do a movement-based class like this and not have to feel like you've got to build up your energy. So literally just letting the knees drop. And if you want to just hang for a moment there, or again, you've got that option of taking a base of support away, just to load the inner thigh muscles. And what we're trying to do, what we're aiming to do, is improve the function with the 4 sign and then load either side of the hip, one after the other, to really start to balance the stability and strength through the pelvis. So just choose your level, whichever one is good, or you might do what I'm doing, you might go between 2 or 3 variations here, or even the longer leg one. If you're quite mobile, sometimes you feel like you want that bigger range through the legs, the extra length, the lever length. Okay, come back, roll to the front, open up the hip, bend the knee, top leg straight, elbow underneath the shoulder, and then again, just a lift and a lower. So remember, with each of these, if you want to create a harder option, then you could just lift the top leg away as well. If you want to stick with that lower option, you might just want to do 2 or 3, take a rest, and then come back. So it's trying to listen to your own body and understand how to push enough to get the benefit, but not so much that it's too much for you. Yeah. We'll just do a couple more here and then we'll swap sides. Good, squeeze up. And again, just make sure that the spine stays as still as you can. And then again, we swap sides. We make sure we get that balance from one side to the other. Elbow line up under the shoulder, just get yourself into position. And then a lift and a lower. And it's that bottom leg pushing into the floor that really gets those hip muscles functioning again. You sort of moving the area we've released, complementing it with that previous technique where we drop the knees out, and then here these side stars. And again, if you want to lift that top leg, arm, you can have an arm line. You can have a jazz hand at the top if you want as well. And again, if you need to take a break and then come back in, because it's quite tough on the shoulder as well. You've got that balance there through the shoulder as well. Brilliant. All right, you've got 2 more rounds. So take a lie back. Whew. Cross it over. Relax. Hand on the knee, opposite or the same side. 20% effort. How are we doing out there? Are you nice and relaxed? Relaxed and warm. Relaxed and warm with a more freely moving pelvis, hopefully. So just that gentle pressure. Try and focus on the low level of it. So still a contraction, but very, very subtle, very low grade. And then we uncross, swap sides, nice and relaxed. Apply your 20% effort. Hold for 20 seconds. And just this one technique alone, if you repeat this on a regular basis throughout the day, particularly when you're sitting, you can do this one sitting, as I've said. We can do these in different positions. The benefits go far beyond what I can talk about just in these single sessions. So it's well worth going back to the recordings in the body sections and have a listen, particularly to any of the teaching sections or segments. And I'm creating more for you for Mel under, after Holly and Mel have asked for. So have a look out for those. Okay, feet together, arms out to the side, and again just an easy loading, letting the hips move. So the hip joint, we're now wanting to move it after we've done that release. You can have the arms out to the side, whatever's comfortable. You can load it a little bit if you want to. And again, if you want to have the legs out straight, so you've got that longer lever, that's fine. Just try and make sure that the pelvis doesn't tip over, and you don't really want to be pushing down to hold the spine down. You want to be able to control it. If you can't, keep the feet down and just allow the inner thigh to load from the weight of the to the knee to the feet. So you've got that extra support there. Good. Face the front. Set it up and lift. And again, just breathe in a way that you feel comfortable with. And if you want to lift that top leg, so you're actually working both sides of the hip. The bottom one's working super hard. The top one, if you lift as well, or you might lift every other one, will be lifting the weight of that top leg. So again, you can kind of play with trying a couple of the tough ones. You don't have to do just one or the other. You could try the easy ones, do a couple of the harder ones, and then pull it back again. So whatever works best for you as you start to retrain your body into some of these movements. Okay, other side, and then again, lift and lower. So giving us a really good strength and stability around the pelvis. So every time you take a step, even though we don't step laterally or to the side, we need stability through that that area so that the knees don't wobble around and the feet. So every time you take a step, having strong sort of hip abductors and adductors will stabilise your knee. They can give you more control when you're walking, or if you're wanting to run or are running, then these are great exercises to stabilise through the hips. One more round. So take a lie back. Good. 4 sign again. Just relax. Hand on the inside of the knee and then rotate. Hold and breathe. Couple of deep breaths. And then change sides. So last 4 sign on the hips. Hand on the inside of the knee and rotate. Now, just for those of you who are thinking about, well, how many should I do throughout the day? The more the better. In the research we did, so these are evidence-based techniques with history in rehabilitation. And what we've studied and found is they're fantastic for improving function and doing it in a very safe and subtle way. In the research we found 4 times a day, so to do 4 of these throughout the day, morning, before activity, after activity, evening, watching telly, sitting at your desk. If you can do it 4 times a day, fantastic. Doesn't have to be forever, but in the early stages, that can really give your hips a kind of kickstart to move better again. So let's just bring those feet together again, arms out, and let the knees drop. And again, use your options. Choose the ones you prefer. And again, you might go a little wider. Just let the hips load and really enjoy that feeling around the hip socket. Whichever one you're choosing to do. Just relax through the neck and the shoulders. Oh, just relax. Good. One more. And then I'm going to get you to roll onto your side. One more time. So bring yourself in here. And again, these nice little intervals, they're not too much, I don't think, particularly if you've had a tough day, hot day, hard day, sedentary day, or if you're new to exercise, to do that kind of flow, it's like a nice build-up. So when we get to this bit, which is more intense and a little harder, a little stronger, you know it's okay, we're going to do one of the releases again after them. So it's that stepping stone from the release through to medium effort, and then these ones are a little bit harder, particularly if you bring that top leg up with, as you lift that bottom leg, you're also stabilising through the shoulder. Let's switch sides. Last one on the hips, on this side, leg back, and then from here, lift, and again you've got that option with that bottom leg. So you'll be pleased to know we're going to wall glide next. I know that a lot of you are finding that you really enjoy those wall glides, so I thought I'd put those back in. Oh, wow, I'm getting warm now. So we've been doing glides sitting, which is great, and that's fine, but the wall glides have been really popular. So if you take your camera so that you can still see what I'm showing you, and you need a kind of a flat, smooth surface. So if you've got a shelf or something, it won't work. So if you can find a flat wall or a door or a ledge round a door, you know, the door ledge, maybe one of those. And then with your feet together, we're going to lean against the wall against a bent elbow. So elbow bent to 90. And I want you to fix your ribs against the inside of your arm. So as you lean against the wall, the idea is what we're going to do from here is a very low range gliding of the hips under the ribs. I've just lifted my top so you can see how small that movement is, and the idea is, I'm doing it really slowly, you're sliding your hip bone underneath your elbow, just like a couple of inches at the most, and if you feel tenderness or any discomfort, please stop. Just watch, listen carefully, and I'll coach you through it. Because this is seen, it looks and feels a little bit like mobility, but technically what we're trying to achieve is actually a muscle release. I'm going to show you from the other side. So you're going to turn around for the other side, lean against the arm, feet away, and then once you're in position and those ribs are fixed, you're just going to glide the hips underneath the ribs. Now there's two little muscles in the lower back in here, and they're often problematic because we sit too much, and so we're just gently gliding them. So what we don't want to do is stretch them by really pushing the hip against the wall. So we're literally just gliding the body underneath. We're going to turn around, we're going to do the same. So we're going to do 3 sets of these before we do our cat-cow, rather than getting up and down off the floor. With this one we're going to do slightly different to the pelvis. So once you're in place, just that slow gliding. We do around about 8 to 10 repetitions on each side. Nice and slow. You may experience one side is more tender than the other. So if you do these again in your own time, only do these a couple of times a day, don't do these more than that. Then I would start with the side that's not so tender. And the aim is not to increase the range, the aim is to do it exactly the same all the time. So with these ones now, I've been doing them a while, I don't actually feel anything anymore because my back moves well, but I know when I haven't done them. Because then when I do them, oh yeah, I can feel that again. So my back's moving quite well. I did my sets this morning, so I did my full iMoveFreely every morning, I do that. And so this one, yeah, as I said, just a couple of times a day, and then relax. We're going to do one more, and then we're going to come down to kneel on the mat before we start the shoulders. So again, just that slow gliding. And we've done these on the floor. I think the difference with the floor to the wall is on the floor when we sit and glide, there's less control. With this one, because you're fixed at the top and at the bottom, you can probably feel this one more, which is why I think people generally like the wall glides more than the seated glides, because you feel you have more control. It might feel slightly more intense, which could be good, could be bad. So just be mindful that you're just getting that gliding. So if you imagine the line of your hips, underneath the ribs, just that gliding. And it's really a muscle release. It's a proprioceptive low back release, which is exactly what we'd like. So just do a couple more there. And then we'll come down to kneeling. So I hope you're okay kneeling, guys. If not, I'm going to give you an option. But from here, cat-cow, which I think Sophie may well have done with you before. And so we go from the cat, which is the curved spine, curl the tummy under, tilt the pelvis under, chin under, open up the spine, and then we go the opposite direction. So where we've released the lumbar spine, we want to kind of give it some movement now like we did before, and then we're going to switch between the two. So we're really moving, and what I like to try and think about doing is really kind of lengthen at the front here, really contract at the back if it feels good, and then you do the opposite. So now I'm contracting at the front and lengthening down the back, and then we go in opposition. So we're going to do another 4 more of these. So we go 4, exhale, breathe in, 3, exhale, chin under, open up, inhale, 2, I have a little waft on when I do mine, and we're going to do 1 more in each direction. So tuck under, open up, push the shoulders forwards and down, and then back and up. Good. So these can be done literally in sitting. So if you struggle on knees, you could pad up the knees, use a cushion, roll the mat over if you've got a mat, or we can do variations of them sitting, which I'm going to show you later on. But before that, we're going to come into the pec minor, and then we're going to do the upper traps as well. So the muscles that pull the shoulder forwards. I know this is a favourite again for some, so we take the opposite hand to the opposite shoulder. You're going to push your shoulder into your hand as the block, using 20% of your shoulder's maximum effort. We're going to hold it there. 20% effort, hold for 20 seconds. And then we're going to do the other side, and then we're going to load the back and then load the front, exactly as we did with the pelvis. Swap sides, hand on the shoulder. So let the shoulder drop back first, so nice and relaxed back. Hand on the front, and then push into your hand. And again, just position your arm wherever it feels good for you, so you can get that force there. Now, some people do this one with the shoulder against a wall. If you want to do that, and if you know it doesn't feel great with the arm across, then you can literally just use the corner of a wall and just push your shoulder into the wall, if that's a better option for you. Okay, so from there we come into kneeling, and from here you're going to take one arm back, up and over, a bit like a front crawl, and then the other arm back, up and over, and then we're going to take it the other way. So we go forwards, back and under, forwards, back and under. So back again, crawl. And the idea here is we're stimulating the muscles at the back of the shoulder blade after releasing the muscles at the front of the shoulder. Forwards and then forwards again. One more time, so we got 4. So there's 1. Crawl the other side. 2. Reach forwards. Take it back. 2. And the last one. Good. Now same position here. Just drop your body between your shoulder blades and then push away. And again, drop and push. And again, so if you are not liking the kneeling position, you could literally use a chair, and you can just do the same on the chair, so with the arm lines as we did earlier. So you can literally use, just make sure that you're not kind of like hunched over, just have a nice kind of deadlift posture and just push through. The back would be straight there. Good, all right, so we're going to do that again. So again, you can kneel or sit or stand, hand on the opposite shoulder, press forwards, 20% effort, hold for 20 seconds. Take a couple of deep breaths. Fill the ribs, spread out your ribs. And then we go to the other side. Press, hold, let the neck relax. Then we go to the swimmer. So kneeling or standing with your chair, take it down. So we go back and over for the crawl, and think about your shoulder blades sliding towards your spine, and then go back. And we're just using the area that can often be stiff for some people. So it shouldn't be high risk, it's nice and slow. And if you're not doing the same range as me, please don't worry. If your arms are doing this, please don't worry, that's okay. I think I have quite flappy scapula, which is not actually of much benefit when I need them to be stable. So there's pros and cons to both stiff shoulders and loose shoulders. All right. And then from here, we're going to drop the body between the arms, let the shoulder blades slide together, and then push them away. Drop and push away. Now, if you want to make this one slightly more loaded, just take the knees back, and you'll feel, have you got that bigger gap between the hands or the two bases of support? You end up loading, actually not only the shoulders, there'll be a little bit in the abdominals as well. So if that's good for you, that's fine. We're going to come back to sitting or kneeling, do the release again. Any shoulder, doesn't matter. And from there, just allow the ribs to lift. So they lift at the top and they expand further down. Change sides. I think sometimes if we can really visualise our inner body, it helps us to connect with it and release it and get it moving and understand how and why we move in certain ways. So, okay, swimmer. So again, use whatever ranges you have, trying to keep, and also trying not to kind of move around too much just on this, because we're trying to keep the focus in the shoulder. So there's no problem with moving around too much, but this is the point of this technique, is to try and ask the shoulders to do the movement rather than the hips or the spine by doing it in another way. So if you start leaning away, that feels quite good actually. We could add some hip drive, but we're trying to keep the focus in the shoulders, which is why I'm keeping you here. But I don't want you to think that any movement is bad. All right, spread the hands, drop the body, push away. So one of the things that I enjoy for my own sort of physical health is just kind of sensing and feeling. Sometimes, there's not really any rules. If it feels good and your body will go there and adapt to that, I think it's just kind of sensing what the body likes, where the sticky parts are. I think sometimes there's a lot of rules put into place, understandably, to keep us safe, particularly in these types of online classes. But I don't want you to think that any movement is necessarily bad if it feels good. All right, one more round, and then we'll get into the upper traps and the median nerve. I know that's another popular combo for you guys. So pressing into the hand, just letting that 20%, just let the arm hang, maybe close your eyes, deep breath up into the chest, down into the belly, let it go, swap sides. Alright, you ready for the last swimmer set? So back to all fours or standing at your chair, and then from here, crawl. And then the other one is like a backstroke, prone backstroke. So a backstroke on the front, and then we'll reverse it. And it's just to really let the scapula glide around the rib cage so that you can actually feel whether there's a sticking point. You can just find those areas where, particularly those of you who are swimmers, these are probably going to feel a little bit easier if you use this crawl or these types of strokes. I am not a swimmer, which you can probably see, but we all still need scapular motion or movement to keep a healthy upper body, joints and tissues and everything else. So, all right, back to our prone scapular dipping. So let the body drop and then push to the point where you can't go any further. And if your spine flexes a little bit at the top, that's okay. That's not uncommon. So don't feel like you've got to kind of just stop where it's straight. You can go beyond that. And again, you can start to feel how much your shoulders, scapula move around. Maybe a good thing, maybe not. How are we doing? So we're going to come into the upper traps and the median nerve. So I'd like to go to the chair because I want to show you one of my favourite neck releases. I'm not sure I've done this one with you yet. So I'm just going to move my mat back, and if you just grab yourself a chair. The ideal chair is a dining chair, and one that has obviously a seat underneath, a little bit of back. You can relax onto it. So we're going to release through the neck, and the muscles down the back and the top of the neck go into the neck and down to the shoulder. Do several things, but predominantly they will move your head from side to side, and they will lift your shoulders up and down. And so what we want to do is we're going to apply our 20% effort, 20-second hold technique. Now normally what we've been doing is having the hand over the top. We're going to do that, but we're going to add another dimension. So we still only want 20%. So opposite hand coming over the top. So we're going to affect this upper trapezius muscle here. But if you have the ability to take the other hand underneath your seat, what I would like you to do at the same time as lifting your head can you also lift your shoulder statically? So effectively I'm doing this into my hands with 20% effort. And that engagement from either end, so I'm pulling the shoulder up against the bottom of the seat, 20% effort, and then I'm lifting the head into the hand, all with that low level, static sort of low grade contraction there. And this one we're going to do straight over to the other side. And this is another one, again, hand underneath, so you just hook the fingers under your seat. If your seat isn't as low, you could bring your hands slightly forwards under the bottom of the thigh so that your hand is there, and you could pull up and back and you would still have a similar effect. If you're on a sofa, whether you can get your hand over the sofa or maybe do it like this under the thigh, let it release. Alright, so we're now going to load the downward motion. So we're just going to do this and then go back to that release, and then we're going to do the nerves. So from here, heel of the palm onto your seat, and then you're going to slide the bottom off, and from here we're going to do kind of that scapular movement again, but we're going down and then up. So we keep the shoulder blades back, pushing up and down. So what we're doing is we're strengthening the downward motion. So we release the muscles at the top, and then we strengthen the muscles at the bottom. So what we're doing again is trying to create shoulder stability through the release and then the strengthen. Back on, and then we repeat the release. So from here, bringing them together statically. That's always difficult to coach, particularly online. When I'm doing it in person, I can see people nodding and they understand. So hopefully it all makes sense. So a static contraction means we are resisting against the hands. So I'm pressing and pulling, and that creates energy within the muscles to really enable them to regain the energy they need to fully contract and relax and function optimally. That's what we're after, that's what we're trying to achieve here. And then we're going to follow this with our little chair dips. Now, if those chair dips feel quite intense for you, if you struggle with the body weight, what you could do is literally just in your seat drop down and just kind of use the motion rather than the loading as you build up a little bit of strength. So if it's tough, maybe try a couple. So you might do 1 or 2, and then you could sit back and then just practice pushing down. Maybe use the sponge of the seat just to have a little pressure downwards as you build up your strength. And then next time you can maybe do 3 repetitions, start to add more and more in. So we're going to go to the other side. You ready? So we've got 2 more rounds. So this is our third of 4. And again, just close the eyes, take some deep breaths. Let those neck muscles just release. And then we change sides. Hold. And if you're like me, I kind of feel almost like it's like a heat generation or like a slight fizzing because I get neck tension from sitting at the desk. I try and change my height on a regular basis, so every half an hour or so. Change the height that I'm working at. That might be something to think about if you do work at a desk. And again, we've got our dips here. But again, as long as things are not uncomfortable, as long as there's not pain, new exercise can often feel a little bit awkward or stiff or clunky. Just take your time, go slow. If you want to stop, watch the video, listen to the coaching again, watch the examples where you can just use the pressure of the sofa or the seat rather than using your body weight. Please don't feel any pressure to do exactly as I'm doing. So take the hand over the top, hand underneath. Got 1 more release set. If you struggle getting the arm overhead, you could literally just put both hands underneath and pull up, resisting onto the bottom of the chair. So there's another option. So there's always options. Hopefully, I know some of you have been messaging me privately to ask for options where the ones that I've demonstrated haven't worked. So I'm going to continue to do that. And so if you need other options, then obviously always let me know. I'll try and run through a few, but there are so many. So, okay, and then the last set of dips, so either into your padding, or you could do a couple, shoulders back, lower the bum, and bringing the feet kind of closer to you, maybe wider, might make this easier rather than too narrow or too far away. Just keep them underneath, just try a couple, and if that's enough, and then you come to pushing on the seating. Brilliant. All right, almost there. Time we got. Okay, brilliant. We've got time for the median nerve. In fact, I'm going to face you a little bit. So we're going to do this one sitting. So your median nerve has a brachial plexus coming through the neck and the front of the arm. We're going to do one arm first. So shoulder down, and this technique is to mobilise the nervous system. So you have a nerve, as I've said, the median nerve in the arm. So slowly, super slow, start to rotate the arm outwards. So your palm is facing forwards, fingers together, fingers straight, and then very slowly you're going to start to take the wrist back, or the fingers behind you, and you're looking for the point at which you start to feel tension, tingling or tightness, the beginning of it. Now if you've got it already, then all you need to do is bring the hand down and take it back. Really slowly, so that you add and release that tension. If you're not feeling it, then we would carry on till we find it. See, I get it there, and then I would release, add it back on. And sometimes what you'll find is you do a couple and then you can't find it again, and it's moved, and then you go, all right, I found it again. That's okay. Shoulder down, and you may feel pull or tingle, tightness, tension. Could be any of those. We're just going to do 8 repetitions, and then we're going to go to the other side. Just let that go. If you get residual tingling, you may have gone a little bit too far or too quick. So we'll go to the other side, shoulder down, turn the arm out. I'm just going to turn so you can see. And again, palm forwards, start to take the fingers back. And if you've got your sensation there, you can just release through the wrist, take it back. If not, we add range at the shoulder. And if you've got it, you stop there, and then I take it off, add it on. Yeah, I can feel it. And we're just gliding the muscle, so I'm lengthening it, shortening it, lengthening it, and you're trying to keep the shoulder down. So a cheat mechanism of your body will be, oh no, I can't feel anything, but actually you've shortened the nerve at the neck. So we're going to come to the other side. We're going to do one more on each side, and I'm going to bring it to a close. So find your tension. See, I've got a bit more range now. There it is. And then take it off, add it on. It must be slow. Slow, controlled. Just about 8 reps. Neck relaxed if you can. And then we'll go to the last side. We'll just face the camera again so you can see. Find your tension, waft there, or find it. I didn't give you the weird, some of the sensations could be really weird, as long as it's not uncomfortable, as long as it's not painful. Odd and annoying, it can be. Okay. Let you concentrate. Just do a couple more. And then relax down. Just give your hands a shake. Alright, so roll the shoulders. Thank you very much. So that's your iMoveFreely session for tonight. So before I go, for those of you who come every Monday, we have a small change coming next week. Monday night session is going to be iMoveFreely cardio. So for those of you who are brand new, just jump on over to the body section. You can find these types of classes in there. So if cardio is not for you just yet, if you want to build up towards that, then you can go and check out the recordings in the body section. I know that we're going back to memberships very shortly, so please check out Early Bird. I think I've still got time for Early Bird, Holly. I'll come around and check. But you can go and find these regular classes in there, all the recordings. But from Monday, it will be iMoveFreely cardio. Now, what I'm going to add on to the front, so 6:15 is a Q&A. So we're going to have 6:15 till 6:30, iMoveFreely Q&A. So that will be my face in the camera so that I can read your questions. So what I'd like you to all do, please, is come along next Monday, put it in your diary now, set a reminder 15 minutes early for Q&A. If you don't want to do a Q&A, you just want the class, you will need trainers. You will need some water or a drink, and you'll need a space. So have your mat handy, we won't use that straight away. But iMoveFreely cardio will be 6:30 till 7:15 from next week every Monday evening. So keep your eyes out on the recorded segments for where you will be able to access more of what we've done tonight. I'm just going to hop around the back just to double check to see what people are posting. So Holly, Holly, can you remind me about the subscription period? Just so the guys, I'm sure the guys in here already know that, but hi there, Christine. Oh, welcome, first session. Thanks, Christine. I hope you enjoyed that. Will you offer some feedback? You can put it in here, or you can private message me. Suzanne, thank you so much. So next time, Lisa, how you doing? Good to see you virtually. So, okay, premium starts on the 1st of July. So guys, if you want to access all of the awesome content, it's like £3 something, it's virtually nothing, per month, whatever it is, it's minimal. It is an investment into your health. If you tell all your girlfriends, it's an investment for them. And moving forwards, there are some amazing schedules being put together by the HERSPIRIT coaches to enable you to pass through a very prescriptive, specifically designed journey through the application to access iMoveFreely, the strength sessions, the cardio, the Pilates, the cycling, the yoga, meditation, Jess's nutrition advice. There's a lot of things being put together, so it is an investment into your mind, body, and fuel. I think I've got them all in there. So, but next week, bring all your questions, guys. Try some of these out in between time, Christine. Let me know how you get on. You can private message me if you wish, Christine, if you've got any private questions, or post them here. Or if you turn up early next week at 6:15 with your aerobic trainers, and we'll do a little bit of cardio. It will be aimed at beginners. So it's going to be a gradual, periodised program. It's periodised. I'm using technical language here. Progressive. That's the word. Progressive program for complete beginners, and then I'm going to gradually take you through some cardio training using the iMoveFreely techniques in between to start to get a more fitter female nation through the HERSPIRIT app. So thanks for coming, guys. As always, together we got this. Every minute counts. Please share, please tell all your friends, particularly with July the 1st coming along. Go subscribe, get the premium. I can't recommend it strongly enough. I've seen what's coming and it's going to be awesome. So thanks ever so much for coming, guys. Take care, have a good week. Bye.